Hey everybody, I wanted to hop on here and talk a little bit about condos versus co-ops. Everybody knows what a condo is, right? You buy a unit inside of a community building, and you pay a monthly fee, which the community uses to maintain the overall building and all of the common areas and amenities. You're responsible for your unit, but they're responsible for everything outside of the unit, and it's a great way to downsize or to live maintenance free, or maintenance minimal. Um, and co-ops seem like a condo, right? You're getting a unit in a community building. You are paying a monthly fee for them to handle the amenities and the common areas you're taking care of inside of your unit. But there are a couple major differences. When you buy a condo, it is a real estate transaction. You are buying the property of your physical unit. But when you go to buy a co op, you're not actually buying property. You're buying a share in a corporation. The co op is a corporation, and you're buying a share in it. That share entitles you to lease the unit that you wanted. Okay? And there's some very important distinctions there. So you still pay the monthly fee. Living on a day to day basis is extraordinarily similar to condo living. Okay? There's really doesn't seem like that much of a difference on a day to day basis. But the big keys are: one, the co op board has to approve anybody who is going to buy a share in the corporation. And because it's not a real estate transaction per se, they have a lot tighter grip on who can buy and who can't. Okay. Also, though, because it's not a real estate transaction, you can't get a mortgage. Mortgages specifically are loans, right, that have a lien on real property. But you're not getting any real property here. You're getting a share in a corporation. So it takes a different type of loan than a mortgage. Unfortunately, most banks and mortgage companies don't do co-op loans. So you have to find a particular provider who will do it. There are a few, and there's certainly ones that I could point you to if need be. But it's a really important distinction. The process isn't going to go as fast as a mortgage. These days you can buy a property and get a mortgage in 30 to 40 days, close on the property. Getting the co-op loan, going to take a little bit longer to get through that paperwork, but also you're subject to the bureaucracy of that particular co-op. They're not going to discuss whether you can move in until whenever their next meeting is. So if you're going to go after a co-op, depending upon the co-op and your situation, you're better off leaving 60 to 120 days to be able to acquire that share in the co-op and therefore the right to that unit. Anyway, if you ever have any questions about this, feel free to give me a call, 484-442-0295.